Hey guys, it's me, it's Miss Harkins. Everybody should have gotten computer paper or white paper. I want you to go ahead and fold it in 4. And write down your name, your teacher's name, whether you have me, Miss Harkins, Miss Coach Winters, Miss May Budgewater, Mr. Fletcher, whoever your math teacher is. And write that down, because you will be turning this into them. So let's go ahead and brain dump things that we know. And I'm going to go ahead and get my reference chart. Because I could brain dump actually on my reference chart. And I know a lot of you have started doing that. Definitely in Miss Winters and Miss May Budgewater's class. And then I know my class, y'all have y'all's brain dumps as well, that I tell you that that's your survival kit. Okay, so proportional. So I'm going to write my keywords. Yes, you have to write your keywords, because some of you just solve and you don't write your keywords, and that is what's keeping you from leveling up. So proportional. You did proportions in 7th grade and you did them in 6th grade, and they look like this, or they look like a ratio table. But proportional means that your relationship goes through the origin. So you're going to be multiplying or dividing. There's no addition and subtraction with it. Or, you know how we usually have y equals mx plus b? Your b is 0. So you only have an mx. Okay? Rate of change. Rate of change, that's your slope. That's your m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That can also be your unit rate. That's also going to be where you see that per, each, and every in your word problems. All of those things mean rate of change. And so you have that here. So whenever you get your reference charts, I would actually brain dump on my reference charts. And speaking of that, do you see how I use y equals kx here? Proportional is direct variation. Sorry, I just want to connect things onto your reference charts where you see them. You know, in reading, they're always talking about annotating. That's the same thing that we're doing now. We're annotating our text. Okay? So speaking of rate of change, remember that's change over y over change over x. All those things mean slope. All of those things mean rate of change. And so how do we find that from the graph? Well, we can pick out 2 points and still use this. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And we can do the same thing on a table. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to write my mini lesson here so that I know that that's what part we are in this. Okay, so it says a printing store uses 24 ounces of ink in 18 minutes. So I'm going to write that down. 24 ounces of ink in 18 minutes. It says which graph has a slope that represents the average number of ounces of ink used per minute. Okay, so if I look here at my graphs, I see that ink is my Y and time is my X. So I'm just going to go ahead and replace that here. So my ink is my Y is 24. 18 is my X. Again, remember, it's Y over X. So I'm going to use my calculator and I'm going to simplify. So I'm going to do 24 divided by 18, and I get 4 over 3. So wherever my time is 3, I know that it needs to be up at 4. Okay? So let's look. I know that A, if I go over 3, it's at 2. So we know that this is not my answer. If I look at B, they have, again, we want 4 as my ink and 3 as my time. So 3, 4, okay, so we know this is correct. Okay, let's look here. 3 is time, 4 is, nope. So it can't be D. And let's look at C. 3 over time. But if you look closer, it's not directly passing through here. It's like a little bit above. So my answer is B. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and practice. So it says a worker paints 4 cabinets in 8 hours. So we're going to write 4 cabinets in 8 hours. Which graph has a slope? Now we're looking for slope. That best represents the number of cabinets per hour. Okay, so look at your graph. We have cabinets as my Y. And then time as my X. So we know that I'm going to pull it here. So we have 4 as my Y, 8 as my X. So if I simplify that, I get 1/2. So for 1 cabinet, it's going to be 2 hours. So let's look at our graphs. It cannot be A because that's not what it's saying. Same thing for C. Okay, again, I want slope, so I know that it's going to be linear, which means that it's either going to be going up or it's going to be down. But because it's a positive 1/2, it's going to be going up, right? So for 2 hours, I should have 1 cabinet. So for 2 hours, it looks like I have 4. For that 1 hour, it was 2 cabinets. But that's not what my question, it was saying. It said 1 cabinet for 2 hours. So if I look here, I have 2 hours for that 1 cabinet. So my answer is D. Teachers, go ahead and pause the video because y'all are going to go ahead and solve them with a partner or on your own. Make sure you are writing your keywords. Your keywords are going to help you. And then teachers, whenever they're done, you can go ahead and unpause and they can check their answers. Okay, so make my okay, so a bookshelf contains 15 books. They each have the same width. The combined width for all 15 books is 12 inches. Which graph has a slope that best models the width of each book? So we know that 15 books is 12 inches width. And then they want slope, right? Okay, so if I look at my graph, my width is my y. My books is my x. Okay, so I have 12 here over 15. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in my calculator. I get 4/5. So we want 4 width for 5 books. So if I look at my graphs, so 5 books, I should be at 4. Cannot be A. For 5 books, again, I should be at 4. Cannot be C. 5 books, I should be at 4. B looks good. And then D, it's not linear. So my answer is B. Number 3, we have 25 miles and 30 minutes. They want to know our slope. Looks like distance is y and time is x. I'm going to simplify 25 over 30. That gets me 5/6. So let's check our answer. Ooh. Okay, so it's really going to be hard to get the 5 and the 6 because it's going by tens. So let's just check for 25 and 30. So we know that for 25, it needed to be 30, so it can't be A. 25, nope, can't be C. 25 and 30, that works for B. Let's look at D. 25, 30, so my answer is B. All right, guys, time for your exit ticket. So teachers, go ahead and pause it. We'll check our answer later. Okay, so we know that our answer has to be proportional. So we know that it would be going through the origin. Okay, that is proportional. However, I have a negative slope, so it should be going down. So if I look at A and B, A is a positive slope, so it cannot be A. B is a negative slope. Okay, so now let's look at these. We know that it's going to be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This will be -1. So let's look at this one. -2 minus -1 over 4 minus 2. -2 minus -1. It's -1. 4 minus 2 is 2. Something's wrong. Oh, I don't know why I was looking for 2 whenever my answer is just 1. What am I doing here, you guys? Okay, so this would be a -1 as my slope, so it cannot be C. This is -1/2 as my slope, so it cannot be D. This is a negative slope, but even if I checked my answer and I pulled out 2 points, so let's see. Let's see, 1, -2, and this will be -1, +2. So if I put in my calculator, -2 minus -2, that would be 4, and then -1 minus 1 equals -2. This would be a -2. So my answer is B. All right, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.